Hi, I'm Brian, and I'm building this 38-foot sailboat. In this episode, we get the first of two thin layers of plywood applied to the exterior of the hull. They are to help give it stability to resist the twisting of the ocean. So we rip them down to size, temporarily put them in place, then we will shape them so they'll fit somewhat tight against each other. I wasn't perfect. It's definitely a learning curve. And then we glue them down in place and staple them with Monel staples to hold them in place until the epoxy sets up. We also had a batch of epoxy that wasn't properly mixed. We have to strip off a section of the plywood after it was installed. So most definitely a learning curve there also. So we started applying the first layer of plywood to the hull of the boat. I did a little bit of a test here to see how it would work out and learn any things that I could to make it easier. And now we are going to start getting the pieces ready for the other side of the boat, and we'll take you along for the journey. So as we're starting to put these 1/8 or 3mm pieces of plywood on here to add some structural stability so that the boat won't twist quite as easy, I do have to cut this end to follow the center of the boat. So lay that up here, framing square and a knife. Scored a couple of times. And then fold, once it's scored, you fold up towards the score and pretty much breaks clean. Clean up any little bits and pieces that are left. Tiny drop right here at this end. Then we're just going to temporarily screw them in place, because whenever they're finished we staple them on, but just so we can fit a number of rows. So stick a screw or two into it to hold it in place. And then go on to the next piece. Well, we did have the plywood applied here, but the resin never set up, and so we're going to have to peel this area back to where it's well stuck. So I'm just using a router to cut out different areas, and we'll just have to redo this one little area. Always happens when the boat builds that the mix gets mixed up somewhere along the line, and this is the end result, and you have to patch it to fix it up. So the best way we figured out in the end was just to take the router here and just do single cuts up and just work your way along and cut out what you want. And the first thing I do is I just went all around the edges, just so that I wouldn't have to come up to the edge every time. So we have all our pieces fitted, ready to go, cleaned. This has been cleaned. Now I just need to mix a couple of mixes of epoxy, and it's like this will never have happened. So we got the first layer laid on. Basically, I'm just taking my router and running along the edge here to cut it off flush with the planking that's inside. So I'm inside the boat. I'm getting ready to cut my angle for my steps here. I know my steps are 11 inches wide. I know they're 5.5 inches high each step. There's 2 steps. But there's also a tow rail around the top of it, so as you're walking up, if the boat is leaning, you won't slip off to the side. There's a tow rail around the whole boat here, made of wood. So I just got to make sure I keep that same reveal all the way along. To cover the hull with the first layer of plywood, it was about 12 to 13 weeks worth of work, and because we were only able to work about 20 hours a week at it, we were able to get about 10 strips per week installed and fastened. If you enjoyed the episode, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next one.